Howdy, I'm Isabella Nunes.
And I'm Josh Lozano.
This is our e-citation system. So at the beginning of our project, we met with a Baylor Police Department officer, and he explained the current issues with the citation system that they currently have, which is mainly that it wasn't electronic and they had to manually write out the citations, which came with a lot of human error, and then they also had to input these manual citations into an electronic system for dispersal to like the courts, police officer, ticketing records, and such. And so we decided that we would create an electronic citation system to hopefully alleviate these problems.
And so this is our feasibility summary, starting off with economic. Return on investment is almost double, which is at 47%. Our break-even point is profitable, it's at $1.90. Our net present value is at $272,144. And this is mainly because officers will not be using full-length papers for citations. Instead, they will be using the citation, e-citation, which will allow them to print out a small piece of paper that will then be the driver's citation. And as for the feasibility for technical, the software and hardware will be easy to obtain and feasible, given the fact that in our world today, technology is everywhere. So it should be easy to access and easy to create. And lastly, for our organizational, main goal for the Baylor PD is to keep Baylor students safe. And with the e-citation system making the citation process more efficient, this will give them more time to patrol the streets and make sure that Baylor students are safe.
So we had 3 functional requirements. The first one was that the electronic citation system was able to transfer the records to the court system into the traffic violator. So this was a problem with the old system, and this makes sure that the system is better and it's worthy of investing in. The second is that the system is always accessible. So even if maintenance must be performed, the electronic citation system must still remain accessible because Baylor PD patrols essentially around the clock, and you never know when you're going to need the system. And lastly, it's that the citation system provides ease of use. And by ease of use, we also mean that it's better than the current system. Like I said before, we're asking for an investment, so it needs to be able to perform to be worth it. We have 4 use cases. The first one was to check the criminal records, and this allows access to criminal records from the system with a swipe of a driver's license. The next is use case 2, that's contact technical support, and this sends a request for a technical support team to assist either remotely or to come help you with your device. The next use case is to write and issue a citation, so this is a main function of our system. This uses the system to electronically input driver information, and then it assists the officer in inputting the traffic violation information, and then the system sends the electronic citation to the offender and to the court records. And the last case is contact roadside assistance, and this sends requests for roadside assistance dispatch, and then once this assistance is dispatched, it sends a confirmation notice to the officer in the field.
So these are our DFD diagrams. Starting off with level 0, as you can see, the officer is the focal point when it comes to both for all the use cases. And so going into specifics, our level 1, one of our level 1s is contacting technical support team. So the officer will first log into the e-citation system, and then the system will verify his information. Then the e-citation system will display a home screen for the officer, which will then allow the officer to select the technical support button, contacting starting a work order notice and notifying the technical support team, which will then allow the technical support team to provide assistance to the officer, whether it be through a phone call or meeting the officer there at that certain location. And then once the assistance is provided, the officer will then confirm that the work order is completed, and the work order will be sent to the work order history database.
So for this level 1 DFD, it's for write and issue citation. As you can see, the police officer is the main actor. He begins by inputting the driver's license by swiping it. The system then verifies the license using information from the DMV database data store, and then this inputs that information back into the system that's now verified. The driver information is put into the system, and then the officer enters any additional information like the traffic violation that occurred specifically. The complete citation is then input into the ticket display, and it asks the police officer to verify the correct information. This complete citation is then issued, and it goes into the data store 1, the DMV database. It goes into the traffic court database, and then it also goes into the police officer ticketing history database.
So this is our class diagram. As you can see, the officer can have access to the driver's records once the driver gives the officer the driver's license. The officer could then issue citations to the driver, and then the officer can either send a request, a work order, or a roadside assistance. The work order will then notify the technical support team that the officer needs assistance, and assistance will be provided.
These are our design prototypes. So we have the contact roadside assistance, which allows you to input location, situation, and additional comments. We have the traffic violation information, which is what the officer inputs into the system. So that's the location, the violation type, speed, infraction code. And finally, this is our citation overview. So once you click OK, it means you approve all the information from the citation, and it is completely submitted.
As for the other prototypes, on the top right, the officer can swipe the driver's license, and then this information will be all automatically put into the text boxes, which will then allow the officer to access driver's records once he clicks that button. And the officer can access driver's records, picking certain dates to look at to see if there's any recent violations that the officer should know. And then there's the contact technical support, and then the drop box for the issues is the common issues that the officer will come by. And if it's none of the above, the officer can select other and describe his issue, and then type in his badge ID, so that way the technical support team can contact them specifically.
And lastly, for our design and implementation, we've decided to use system testing and acceptance testing to make sure that all of our prototypes and our plans run correctly. That's all. Thank you.